I do want to say to any CEO or CTO listening that you do not have to rip out all of your anchor applications. But if you kind of take the classic tech stack for a technology company, HubSpot on the front end, Jira on the back end, and in between is the messy middle. In between is
Yeah, and maybe a financial application in there somewhere, just to close the books and stuff like that.
So in this particular company, they were using HubSpot for sales and Jira for engineering, and they had the messy middle. They had every flavor of things in between, and they don't want the whole company to be on HubSpot. That's expensive. And so really, if you think about the life cycle of those customers, those expensive B2B customers, those like high annual contract value B2B customers, they're going to have them for 5 to 7 years. And so if you're mapping the value and the management of that relationship over 5 to 7 years, like 5% of the touch points are in the sales part in HubSpot. The long tail of the touch points are not in HubSpot. Yeah. And so naturally, the new VP of customer success who came in was like, I'm going to bring in my point SaaS solution that I'm comfortable with. That's a natural thing to do, right? He'd used it. It'd been successful in other businesses. So that tool is called Gainsight. And I have nothing negative to say about Gainsight. It's a really good customer success management tool. But we are doing a different strategy inside of this company. We're trying to minimize point SaaS solutions. So he and I
And real quick, just for reference, another, like, what size company? 20, 30, 40, 50 million?
40 million ballpark. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a true SMB. This isn't a startup, but it's not an enterprise.
And so the VP of customer success and I sat down, we talked about what features mattered to him, and we rebuilt what he needed in a customer health tracking solution. And the cool part is that it's pulling from and the same core databases that flow through the entire company, right? Like this is this is kind of the secret of why no code works so well, is that you spend the time to figure out what core databases really contain your IP, like customers and products and projects and so forth. And then you build all these ancillary solutions around them. And so his team right now is doing their job of customer health updates. So, they proactively reach out to customers. They've got a recurring cadence of when they talk to the customer. Every single one of those conversations now is getting added to this Notion built customer success tracking tool. The CS employee can indicate, hey, this is like an escalation situation. So they check a box to say, this health update I'm giving you is like, it needs to be escalated up to the executive team. So they've got an executive dashboard that is a curated view of the latest health updates. So the COO, who's responsible for talking about health updates at the executive leadership team meeting every week, he no longer has to spend 2 hours. He was spending between 1 and 2 hours reading spreadsheets and interviewing the team leader to know, like, hey, what should I talk about in my ELT meeting coming up? All that's disappeared.